Welcome to North of the Broad. I'm Robyn Zimmerman. We are at the Pat Conroy Literary Center. As you know, I actually tape our show once a month. We do 2 shows here at the Conroy Center. And we like to open our show with Jonathan Haupt. He is executive director of the Conroy Center. And how long have you been the executive director?
As long as there's been a Conroy Center, so since 2016. Yes.
Since 2016. Mm-hmm. And last time when Jonathan was on, we said, let's always start our interview with you, because you're on every show, with like a Conroy minute, or just, a little opportunity to talk about Pat Conroy, and maybe an aspect of his family or his writing or his life. And so today we are...
What a perfect opportunity, because a new piece of artwork was donated to the Conroy Center last evening, in fact.
Wow.
And here we are in front of it, so it worked out very well. Lowcountry serendipity, I suppose.
Yes, it's Fleetwood Covington's piece of Pat Conroy teaching on Daufuskie Island.
Yes.
But what year would you say that is?
Pat taught on Daufuskie 1969, 1970. It was a first year of teacher integration, so he was the first white school teacher on Daufuskie Island. He had 18 students, grades 5 through 8. We see 3 of the boys depicted in Fleetwood's piece here, which is painted on tin, so in person it's even more beautiful and unusual than it perhaps looks on camera. It's really a remarkable piece.
Yes, and Fleetwood had asked permission from you. This is a gift to the Conroy Center, which I think is really special.
He primarily does commissioned pieces, and Fleetwood's been an artist and a musician for about 30 years, phenomenally talented, but Mr. Conroy's legacy really meant a lot to Fleetwood and to his family, and he wanted to recognize that in this really special way. So it's tremendously generous of him to do this for us.
And actually, in the Conroy Center is the photo. You'll see the photograph that this was taken from.
That's right.
And
Billy Kaiserling, who was our long-serving mayor, of course, and his brother Paul documented Pat's experience on Daufuskie when Billy was a graduate student. So that's the reference photo for this particular piece.
And is it not watercolors, chalk? Is it chalk?
I think it's charcoal-based paints on tin. Yes.
Very good.
The contrast is really striking. Everything comes down to can you get the black and white off of the tin in powerful ways, and he absolutely did that.
He does. When I came around the corner and I saw the piece, it's just like popped.
It does. Oh, it absolutely does.
And we're in the room with Pat Conroy's desk. Is this called a special room?
This is our recreation of Pat's office. So his desk from his Fripp Island house is opposite us right now. He wrote about half his books, at least in part, at that desk from Beach Music onward. And this is really a special room when folks come through for a tour. This is the room in which they tell me they feel both the presence and absence of Pat Conroy, which is the way we've curated it. So.
Well, and you mentioned tour.
Yes, I did, in fact.
And so a nice segue to tours. There are public. The Conroy Center is open from Thursday to Sunday from noon to 4.
That's right.
But then there's opportunities for private tours. So talk about that.
Yeah, and that's been increasingly popular with book clubs or travel groups, or sometimes even family groups or women's clubs, to schedule an off-hours tour to come by and have a tour with me in a time when we're not open to the public. And we'll walk through the 3 galleries of the museum, including the space we're in right now, or we'll do a lecture in our education room, or a discussion of a Pat Conroy book if they've read, say, The Prince of Tides or The Great Santini, and they want me to facilitate that conversation. Those are all things that are possible. And
do they call you or go on the website if they want to schedule a tour?
They can do either of those things. They can call us or email us in advance, and sometimes people make plans months in advance because they're coming from elsewhere. They're coming to Beaufort for a Pat Conroy experience, and it's that important to them. So I would say right now we're doing a private tour almost once a week.
Wow.
They're really quite popular.
Would you say, and we've talked about this before, that COVID has really been a good thing for the Pat Conroy Center because of Zooming, and so more people throughout the world really know that where you are and that we're here in Beaufort, and come visit?
I think that's absolutely true. It resonated in such an amazing way. As you know, we had to shut down, as all museums did during COVID, and we did a lot of virtual programming, reaching an audience that would never have been able to visit us in person at that time. But now that they can travel again, they're coming here, and they're coming in groups, for that matter, too, as a sort of literary pilgrimage, as we think of it. So yes, quite a lot of ways to visit our center, both in person and online now.
And of course, at the center, there are author events, and we have about 15 seconds left. There's a trio of events in November.
Yes, there are.
And we have one on the 2nd, the 13th, and the 15th. You want to just briefly mention?
Sure, absolutely. Maddie Dawson, who's a humor writer and novelist, is with us on Thursday the 2nd at 5 p.m. Catherine M. Walker, who's an Australian fantasy author, is coming overseas to visit us on Monday the 13th. And then Patricia Foster, who's a really phenomenal memoirist, is discussing her book, Written in the Sky, and then teaching a workshop the next day on the 15th and the 16th. And all of that is on our website.
And free, I think.
Yes, author events are always free. Always free.
Thank you, Jonathan, so much. It's very much going on here at the Pat Conroy Literary Center. We'll be right back with more North of the Broad. Don't go away.